Hello and good evening, viewers. Welcome to another episode of your Sport Light, of course, Sport 360 Light on your favorite TV, that is Atlantic Online TV, the Gambia, the little smiling coast of Gambia, I say, and then our studios at the West Coast region side of Gambia, Farato. But today I'm so happy because I got a guest that I said you will get what you want. As usual, I'm the host, Big Sam, and of course, on my left right here is my co-host Mamadou, and today I will feature the one and only Amadou Oba. I call him my SG. Of course, is the guest for today. But before we go, Mamadou, welcome to today's sport. And remember, we are live every Sunday from the hour 8 to 9 o'clock. And tune in, you'll get the best of sports. Mamadou?
Thank you. Welcome back again for another edition of our sport at Atlantic Online TV. I am also glad to share the same platform with my bosses, Ahmad Oba and Big Sam.
Thank you so much. There you go. And now I unveil my guest. SG Amadou Oba, of course, appeared for the GFF, a media officer. Amadou, welcome to our today's edition.
Thank you very much, Big Sam Gurgainde. Many names, one man, two town. I mean, he's a public figure and a household name, and of course, my brother Mamadou for welcoming me to Atlantic TV, a TV station that is making airwaves and of course making a household name of its own, not only within the, sobriquets of Farato, but the Gambia and even beyond the global stage. It's sports, and sports is life. Sports is who we are, and I am glad to be here on this platform again to share my little knowledge with you.
Thank you. He got vast, so he's gonna share that with us, right? Okay, and tonight we have three components that we want to talk about with you, or give you what we have. And first, I would like us to browse through the most talk about one of the most attended final of the region, that the West Coast Zonal Championship. Amadou Oba is part of Fonyi, and we saw Fonyi play against Gunjur goalless. And of course, the match is rescheduled. Like I tell you, the proper date is not yet. We're looking at the Independence Day, but any other day will communicate to you. The second, we'll talk about where he come from, GFF League, because of recent, the Gambia Football Federation League is one of the most watched. Looking about, going back, people don't even, it's just like a training, but now the trend has changed dramatically. Why that, he will tell us. And finally, we'll talk about, as the nation, the continent Africa is gearing, not in fact gearing up, inside the AFCON 2023 in Cote d'Ivoire. It has just started, and of course on Saturday, as games are, in fact, right now, as I'm speaking to you, Cameroon, or rather, the host, Ivory Coast, is playing with Nigeria, a very big game. We might give you those results depending on when we finish with you. But anyway, once again, Mamadou, that's what we're going to talk about. But first and foremost, Mamadou, again, before we go to Amadou, the West Coast Zonal Championship that went goalless, one of the most attended final, Mamadou.
I think some West Coast Zonal final was the best final I ever watched at the Brikama Mini Stadium since I started watching finals in Brikama, because the turnout, the discipline is excellent. You cannot play football without chaos, but on that day, we could not witness any such from fans, spectators, players, not even somebody who is just passing, because people leave their errands, travel distance to come and witness this final for the first time, I can say, because we see the first edition, we witnessed the second, and this was the start, and we see how it was played. So I can tell you, this was the best, and it doesn't stop there. It was goalless in the first final, and it is rescheduled to the second final. So teams are just try to rectify their mistakes so that they can have a winner in the second, in the rescheduled final. So I can tell you, the second, the rescheduled game, it is going to be more interesting than the first final, because we saw chances in the first final, but players could not capitalize to score, to earn their teams the trophy. And the second final is coming. There is no date for it as we are talking, but there will be day, no matter how long it will be. I think on that day we will see coaches will try to rectify their mistakes, and the strikers or any other player who got a chance on that day will try to do something for their teams.
Thank you, Mamadou Dea, the rescheduled man that I tell you. But let's go to Amadou. In fact, I saw preparation from Amadou's West Coast, or let's say Fonyi side, by 9 o'clock. They are at the Brikama, seeing where they can get some breakfast. That was amazing. Yes, my host today, Amadou. One of the media campaign was awesome. The final, like he said, was one of the best. That's the third edition. Your take on, in fact, at halftime, you were the one hosting to give certificate. Your take on the final, Amadou.
Well, Big Sam, first, I must agree with my colleague Mamadou, and I must recognize the efforts of the organizing committee for championing such a huge event. We all know how expensive and tiresome organizing such activities or events could be. And despite all the odds and challenges that the committee, including the media and publicity committee, have gone through, like you said, the successes attained are beyond measure. Like he mentioned, discipline is one of the most fundamental issue as far as any convergence or gathering is concerned, especially when it comes to sports. And by far, it was one of the most disciplined, the most successful event come on that fateful day, which is of course the first day of 2024. And I remember saying it is a day, it's good to step in the right direction into the beginning of the 2024, and thanks to the West Coast Region Football Zonal Committee for giving us that first exciting day of the year 2024. When it comes to the organizational structure of the tournament and what we've achieved so far, I think it's a 99.9% success. Like he said, for me as well, it is one of the most countrywide, mention any venue or any kind of football tournament or final been organized so far. That particular fateful night was the best, not even one of it was the best to me so far. And this, I know I am not the only one that felt it that way. I've spoken to a lot of people. I've seen a lot of reactions on social media, in person, and people can tell you how much they felt. And there's this one particular guy that really the statement touched me. I enjoyed Amboy, thinking that I am one of the organizers or the chief organizer. Amboy, you know what? Ning final sifa, ning event sifa, box bar sansa ngona. Akakala fama kake.
Ani sidu yalo ko sidu mfindi la fego ko do sidu ko nyeko kabrin nga janna start nena ma nyimo si faldi.
Exactly. So those are testimonies that the committee I think should take as a takeaway, and it should boost their morals to even do better, to do more. And I must say kudos to them, because like I said, it takes a lion to organize such a magnificent tournament. But so far it's a success, and like you said, preparations have been ongoing from my Enfoni side. 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock ina mburu jaro sa gara so rebe mburu hasu kan kada box ba yalo alko nga kenyombula nga na play box ba fona nga na don doro nga filo fonante. So it's good that the boys are getting and I think that is another positive, not only for the committee but for the fact that in rural communities are able to have a gist of the box bar mini stadium. One, the fanfare, that is the ambience, and secondly, the Theater of Dreams is one of the biggest fanfare you could go to any pitch in the Gambia here. So it's good to have that kind of experience, but it's also good to explore the experience of the pitch. Like I said, in most of these rural communities, you play on on sandy pitches, and so it's important when you come, at least they're given that kind of momentum to also experience that. And a lot of them have been also scouted through such platforms, because perhaps scouts now don't have the privilege to go to the rural or provinces, but coming to box bar and that day alone, how many scouts were there, how many people were there. I would take one reference. One example is the captain of Fonyi zonal team, Musa Nyasi, is playing for BK Milan. Wow, and this is a kudos to Fonyi and to Brikama, of course, to the West Coast Regional Zonal Committee for organizing such avenues. So to me, it's a success, and I am looking forward to the rescheduled one. Like I always said, we need to do extra, and we take the lessons learned from this. I know a lot of people were equally the fans. Some of them perhaps we are not happy the fact that they have to pay again to come and watch.
Exactly, exactly.
What is so bad about watching something that will make you happy?
Yeah.
Pay and come and watch.
And come and watch. Thank you very much, boy. In fact, let me just clarify that. Although West Coast zonals, we don't have that in our constitution, but then Brikama Sports have. So most of them, what we do is to communicate that to the teams. So that's why you see, at the end of the game, the teams and their official, nobody was complaining because it was put to them that if this game went to a draw, we are going to resettle. But you cannot talk to all, like how many people turn to box, but you cannot reach all those people that if the game ends, this is going to happen. But I know they will like. In fact, the teams and the coaches and the players love it to be played again to rectify. And then you talk about from the sandy to the pitch. In fact, I think one of the coach of Fonyi mentioned that, yes, some of them, but then it was the crowd he talked about because the trend of Fonyi in the league and what they played, that there was quite a little bit different, especially their first game against Gunjur in Gunjur. They have everything, but that day it was a little bit below. And he told me that perhaps what he observed from his boys is the crowd. Some of them have never played in front of that kind of crowd, so they kind of feel panic and etc. And we're coming back to the game. What would you want to share with us?
Yeah, I agree with you totally. For me, when it comes to football, I always want to enjoy listening to divergent views, divergent opinions. And on that fateful night, I was not surprised that the game was going to be rescheduled. In fact, like you said, it's been communicated.
Exactly.
I mean, the laws are there, and the teams, the technical meeting as well, it was recorded. And to me, it's important that people are able to read along as they watch the soccer, because it's important to know the book that governs the particular tournament. So that was not a surprise. That's one aspect. When it comes to the game, you are absolutely right. You look at that fateful night, the fanfare. I think I observe a lot of nervy muscles, a lot of cranky, thoughts and minds in the mindsets of most of the Fonyi zonal players. That they were nervous, they were panicking, and that contributed a lot. And you cannot blame them. So some of them, you know, such a crowd, pulling such a crowd. Even for people who were watching like us, were amazed by the crowd, regardless of someone on the pitch. And you have about 1,001 coaches on the touchline shouting at your name, do this, do that. And at some point, if you don't reach that level of maturity in terms of experience and playing or exploring such avenues, it's always very, difficult for you to, of course, show your potential. But this is why it's good that they're able to learn from their mistakes. They're able to, get the experience from that moment, take it up into the second, rescheduled replay, that is the rescheduled match, and I promise you, you would see a difference, because so far they're looking at different departments, from the goalkeeping side, the defensive side, the midfielders to the forwards, because there has to be that transitioning from I saw a very exciting goal today from the Africa Cup of Nations between Equatorial Guinea and, of course, the Guinea-Bissau team, where you see build-ups such as the Man City's Ederson to Mohamed Salah, direct kick to De Bruyne or Haaland, and that of course Mohamed Salah also to Alisson Becker, from the direct goalkeeper straight to the striker. The striker has to put just one touch on the ball to bring the ball down and tap it. Just look at those simple. So you need to be intelligent and smart. You need to read the game. You need to read the movements of your players in order for you to be able to observe and see that space. Because the little space that Big Sam might find as a point striker towards Amadou as an opponent defender could be advantageous to him. And so the goalkeeper saw that, and a simple tap, just one touch and tap, it's a goal. So, but then it's difficult for us to have that during that fateful night, transitioning from the goalkeeper to the defense to the midfield to the striker, and that was why you could see they were so wasteful. But again, playing underground with the crowd, so it's just something that they need to really improve, and they are doing that.
And I think the coaches said they're going back to the drawing board. That's the norm in the Gambia, so the drawing board will throw whatever they need, and then they will bring us a good one. And I promise you viewers that we will come to tell you the date. And to be honest, wherever you are, even if you have to fly in, jet in, you will have ambience, you'll have crowd, you'll have football at its best and everything. Mamadou, before we take a short break and come on, anything on that? Or Ambo, you want to add up anything?
Yes, I just wanted to also talk about the issue of Gunjur. I mean, as a strong opponent, it's good to have this the coastal area also coming up with such a strong team. I mean, Gunjur are by far more experienced than the full side.
In fact, even their coach.
Yeah, even their coach, you could admit that you see that they're able to bring in those tactical changes. You remember when the Fonyi coach made that tactical error, pulling out his number 6, who was by far the main man in the middle, and everyone was, shouting at the stadium. And immediately that happened, you saw the impact in the game. Gunjur were just mounting pressure on the Fonyi side. So I am sure the coach of Gunjur is equally working so hard to ensure that they are clinical in front of goal. And this is what we want. We want to see strikers scoring goals. We don't want to see dry matches or games. We want to see strikers scoring goals. So before the match, this past final, I made a prediction. I said they're going to the game will end goalless draw. And for that, it's either the committee to decide for them to reschedule or they will go to penalties. This was my prediction before the match even started at the media tribune. And luckily, I got it right. That was partially, it's half though. I got it right that it's a goalless draw, but it didn't play to penalty game. So it was rescheduled.
Well, that is it. Meanwhile, I must thank Amboy for that, because he did the radio advert for us in English, and also the commentary teaser. That was one of the best we have before the game. Amboy, thank you so much. I think that was, but listen, and the teaser, the winner was not announced. So
and that is why it was a goalless. That's why it was a goalless. I know it was going to be a goalless. So the committee owns the goal.
So the OC and the executive, you own the goal. Finally, before we turn the another turn,
I just want to add something on what my boss just said. If you look at the Fonyi side, they were different on that day. Looking their game against Gunjur in Gunjur and against Sukuta in Sibanor is two different, because the connection between these players was not there as we expected it to be, and even how the coach expected it to be was not there. Because in Sibanor we see Fonyi were playing a very good game against Sukuta, because they came into the game with hope of winning and they end up winning. We saw them in Gunjur playing a very good football, but on that day in Brikama I saw little nervous was there. That's why it doesn't work for Fonyi.
Well, there you go. So rectify it, go back to the drawing board. Of course, remember this is your, Sport 360 Lite. And of course, coming to you from your studios in, of course, Farato, the little Gambia. And it's, of course, I, who myself, Big Sam, alongside Mamadou right here. And in fact, I must again, I'm going to have a double for the West Coast. Remember this, I'll be very frank with you. When I was initiating this program, I wrote everything. I said, Amboy, please, I have this idea. Write it down, give it to me. And he ended up even giving me Sport 360 Live. So, so you can see I have it here. He is the one who gave me that name, Sport 360 Live, and wrote everything. So I must thank you. So, no, let me say your hand. Let me say your hand. So Amboy is a genius,
Victor, one thing I love about you is you are open. You are an open-minded person, and even though you brought us into the media, you're still able to, open up to suggestions and opinions. Exactly. And that was why when you brought up that idea or concept, conceptualizing this particular, show, I am proud of you to see that, the Sport 360 Light is really, hitting the airwaves, because I am a keen follower, because I am sports, I live sports, sports put food on my table. So, keep it up. I am so amazed with so far what you've achieved. So this is what we do always. We connect, we interact, we share, and we make it great. Because at the end of the day, it's not Big Sam, it's not Mamadou, it's not Amadou. It is what is best for the Gambia. Because all these communications you are doing, the programs and what Atlantic TV is doing, is communicating on this platform, is not for Atlantic TV to benefit. It's for the Gambian public to benefit. Because the Gambian public loves sports, and that's why you are doing this.
Thank you so much. Of course, like I said, you watching your favorite sport program on Atlantic TV, the Gambia, the Smiling Coast. And of course, in our studios here in the West Coast region side of Gambia, Farato. We take a break and we'll come back for the second one. Hello, viewers. Welcome back. And our second topic of discussion will be. Meanwhile, my guest here is Amadou Oba. He's a media officer and a peer at the Gambia Football Federation. Of course, the board or the department that is handling Gambian football. So I think that way. So that's why it's very, very important. I get him on this other one, the second one, which is the Gambian Football Federation Division 1 League, second and third. Especially the Division 1 League. I will share with this one with you viewers that the Gambia Football Federation, it was from a transition from Gambia Football Association, GFA, to Federation. But since then, I remember when our uncles were playing Days of Starlights and so the Biris, may his soul rest in perfect peace, the Ibulolis and the like. We have people watching the Gambia Division 1. But there was come a time it drastically dropped. In fact, the GFF were not charging any fee at the gate because people don't turn out. Sometimes you go and watch, it's like a training ground. So it was losing momentum, losing people watching the game. And in fact, when the zonal come, it attracts a lot of thousands around the country. And then people are in fact speculating, why can't we change these divisional leagues to the zone? Because it will. But then here, by the beginning of 2022-23, before we get into 24, this Gambia Football Federation League becomes one of the most, especially when the games are played at the Brickham Box Bar Mini Stadium. That was just awesome. It was a kind of a transition. Of course, Amadou Oba is here before he come. Mamadou, my co-host here, will attest to that the GFF League is one of the best watched league in this country. He will tell us what did they do, you know what I'm saying? But then here is Mamadou.
Sir, before you hardly see teams traveling with fans, but now you see teams traveling with fans.
Talk to the viewers about it. Tell them.
I said before you hardly see teams traveling with fans, but now we are seeing teams traveling with fans.
So that means the GFF league
is improving.
Is improving and it's another league. But I will come to you later. But now let me engage the man. Let me go to our language. That simply means, you know, the only guy that can speak is the guy in the middle. So here is our man, Amadou Oba, the transition of the GFF league from nobody watching to one of the biggest league right now. Although we're still we are not professional, but then there I will tell you, no matter Gambian league is not professional, but all these guys, of course, agents you call them, will fly all over from the Europe or anywhere in America or anywhere in the globe to come and scout. We have a lot of people that are already in Europe and other parts of the world. So that is it. Amadou, the transition.
Thank you so much. That's just the word, the transitioning. You know, I must say it's a collective responsibility, a collective work. The Gambia Football Federation and of course the clubs or the stakeholders that makes up the Gambia Football Federation, you know, as the organ or the body responsible for football affairs in the country. You are right when you say football has changed momentarily in terms of visibility, and football is such an expensive adventure now. Football is expensive. You need to invest in football. And over the recent years, you've seen the transition in from, like you said, people being bored with the games. You know, especially you don't even talk about women football before. I'm talking about, you were talking about men football. People get bored to even watch men football. Like you said, it's like you were watching a training session or a training ground, because the passion wasn't there, the interest wasn't there. But momentarily things started changing, and there are a lot of factors that contributed to that. One of which is visibility. The coming up of a communications department is one thing, because I always say this to institutions or organizations, Nibe Femola, no matter how big it is, how huge the impact is, if people don't know, you are not doing anything. If the media is not involved, it's like you are not doing anything. You know, the impact might be huge, but it's like you haven't done anything. I compare with someone who does a little thing, but brings the media, and it goes wild, it goes viral, and you look at the impact the person did. It's just you know, in bottles. So that tells you that the difference is the visibility. So I am very impressed, especially with the clubs, Big Sam, when you say 2022 towards 2023. Momodu made mention of teams now or clubs going with their fans, clubs transporting their fans, and all that includes logistics.
Yeah.
But equally, the branding aspect of it, for me, that is where I am so much impressed about. When recently you see clubs unveiling jerseys, home jersey, away jerseys, third kit. I said, wow, I was like, especially during the last break before the beginning of this season, we've seen so many clubs, not only in fact in the men's
Even
league, but even in the
second
second
division
division.
clubs.
You see clubs coming to unveil their kits, and the branding was so superb, it was so great. And the idea is thanks to GFF, because now we are in the state of the remodeling of our football, and like you said, irrespective of how amateur our football league is, it's one of the most followed. That is why FIFA was also able to contract the 11 sports. You've seen them featuring most of our matches online, where you can watch them across the whole world. And of course the media in the Gambia, including Atlantic TV, also going to the grounds, making interviews with the coaches, having interviews with the players. All these are contributing factors towards the progress and visibility of our sports, of our football. And now it has inculcated into the women's football now. And that is why now, before, a parent hardly allows his or her girl child to go to the football field. You are not even mad as a girl child to say, I am going to play football. But because now they've seen the benefits, we've seen the likes of Catherine Jata, the likes of, I want to take reference from Mbasi, the likes of Woody, Brikama, there are loads of them from Berewuleng and Greater Tomorrow. Recently, we've seen the likes of Messi, Kadijaju, and all those. Going there and showcasing talents. And now it's not only within the Gambia, but like you said, we've seen players, scouts coming for players, and players now transitioning to abroad, to overseas, fight for greener pasture. And football is a profession. Football is not something that you do out of passion. You do it to be paid to put food on your table. And it's a process. One thing also people need to know, it's not something that you, like you said, if you look at from the association football days to football federation, now there is a huge gap. There are lots of developments that have happened, and it was a process. It was a transition. Capacity building is one of them. If you look at the CAM project of the GFF, that is under the developmental plan of the Kabalet executive, it takes a look at the training, capacity building for coaches, capacity building. Lots of capacity building for coaches have been done at the Gold Project. Capacity building for referees, capacity building for medics, capacity building for administrators, coaches, and the secretary generals, and you all name them. So all these also contributed to the transition that you're talking about. And clubs also now investing. Before, a club might not necessarily buy a shoe or pay for a player, but now at least clubs are coming up to also know that, okay, football is expensive. In order for me to get quality, I need to put in money. And clubs, I must say, Real de Banjul is a case study, and that is why for everybody. That is why it's no surprise that you see them on top, because the investment is there, because the value is there, and other clubs are also following suit. Of recent, if you look at the league, that is, I don't know, maybe we will get there during the course of the program, but it's very interesting for this year to find the league table for League Division 1. Real de Banjul, Team Rhino, which came from mid-table somewhere, and now dominating the first division league. The likes of Falcons, the likes of let me go through it. I saw Marimo FC Parkfood. Now it's been changed to Parkfood, and that is the investment I am talking about. Fortune FC, one-time champions. The top three is Real de Banjul, Fortune, and Team Rhino. Now this could be the first three. They are the first three, but how many points is between them? So tight. Very tight. You look at 9 games played so far, but right now, Real de Banjul are 21 points, Fortune are 18 points, and Team Ryan is also 18 points on goal difference. Oh my. But the surprising thing again, that is on top. The surprising thing again, at the bottom, the most successful club, Walidan, is at the bottom of the table in the first division. How surprising can that make you feel? With only 6 points out of 9 games played so far. So that tells you that they've lost 3 matches, they've won only 1 and they drew 1. Okay, you look at also the likes of Brikama United, second to last on the table at the bottom. Man. You look at Wabanjul. I mean, these 3 are one of the most exciting teams we were able to watch during the course of 2021-2022 season. Exactly. But it tells you the competitiveness of the league. It also tells you the quality of the league. A lot of transfers have occurred with these teams. Brikama United, Walidan, Wabanjul, you name them. There are lots of movements here and there. And once you move your player out, you expect to bring in another quality player. If not, it is going to haunt you. So these and lots of other factors contributing, of course, people also come in to buy clubs. If you look at, for example, TMT, BST Galaxy, they're owned by individuals who are Gambians who also, you know, have passion for sports, and they also want to invest in sports. You know, having national team players to, I mean, invest in football is good for us, because at the end of the day, it's coming back to the Gambia. Having business, I mean, entrepreneurs or business people coming to invest in sports is good for us, because at the end of the day, it's coming back to the Gambia again.
Something
so it's
like,
good that,
I think, Kemu, something like...
Yes, the Dutch Lions. Thank you for reminding me. Those are all,
exactly.
I mean, teams that have been bought. I mean, and it's good to see them. The Serekunda FC, of course, the Gamtel, it's now Serekunda FC. Dutch Lions was the former Medical FC. And the saddest thing about it, of course, is that because they sell those clubs because they cannot sustain them. So sustenance is very important in every investment. So it's good that, you cannot sustain, pass the baton to Big Sam. You can sustain and still remain the league.
To somebody who wants to invest.
Is what in a Diba Oil?
Yes, Diba Oil. Dutch Lions is medical from the second division. And those are all regional clubs. You know the challenge they face, traveling all the way, coming here. It requires a lot of money. And of recent, the latest club that was sold, of course, is on the female league division. That is the TMT's CEO buying Abuko United. Now it's TMT female club also, and it's good to see them all, I mean, doing well in the leagues.
Well, that's awesome. Like I tell you, my viewers, today you got everything that you need, because I got the man here. Modu, yes, your take of the revolving of the GFF League One.
Like my boss said, a lot of investors are coming over to take ownership of teams, because before you hardly see people coming in just to invest on club. And now, let me tell you this, now players will be playing, scouts are sitting all over, watching players. After the game, you will see movements going. Not long ago, you see Rashid Njai sign his 3 years contract with what Latvia signed.
That's the Brufut player that play for you.
Gunduru United. So all that can be example for the development of the fourth and second division in this country.
To be honest, I am most definitely, man. To be honest, in fact, there was a day I was telling Momodu at Boxbar that GFF League, to be honest now, is something that you cannot afford to miss. So like I said, like Amadou, when to delve into more of why it comes, like I said, so basically we give big thanks to Kabale, because I mean, we have to give the devil his due, because when he came, and I mean, others were there, and then we see what happened. At the end of the day, when he comes, we see it. So I think kudos to the Kabale and everybody out, especially, I will not take, because we are the one that makes people to come, but we are the one that people don't even recognize. And then he said, Amadou said that it's because of the, I mean, we can see GFF have inculcated now the media department, which is doing more, updating, doing everything, wherever they went. So I think basically that is it. Anything you want to tell us more important on the GFF? Yeah, it's about the league, the quality of players we have, and, how much, I mean, of success over the years that our football has been, not only to the continent, but even to the world. I mean, not long ago, the under-20 returned from representing the country at the FIFA World Cup in Argentina. And I mean, they transitioned as well from the WAFU in Senegal, Mauritania, then AFCON, Egypt, also as, silver medalist, then straight to qualify for quarterfinalist at Argentina. And today, that under-20 squad, we have only 0.1% who have no contracts. Wow. That is only 1 or 2 players. Look at that. All of them, the 25-man squad are all gone to clubs. Exactly. This tells you that it is interesting. This tells you that there's quality. This tells you that there's improvement. This tells you of the latest, like he said, Harun Rashid Njai. Congratulations to him. He deserves it. The boy has been so much hardworking. He's a young kid. He has a bright future ahead of him, and he just needs to calm a little bit down, because one thing also that could damage the careers of our young potentials is the hype that and the pressure that we give to players. As young as he may be, you expect him to make $1 million today. No, it doesn't work like that. Allow them to grow, allow them to experience, allow them to have fun.
because they are still under that age, that category. So it's important that he is able to also have that contract and also go and explore, his career. But all in all, like you said, the media has played a pivotal role, and before it takes like a while for any league competition to have a media presence. Today you don't even need to put up a press release. Just distribute the fixture and you see journalists coming to the football pitches, coming to the ground and covering matches, conducting interviews, and they are not called by the GFA, but because of the passion they also have for the job, the passion they have for the development of football in the country, like what Atlantic TV is doing right now, that is why they are involved. So anything that is developmental, we need to take part, we need to take ownership, and that is what the media has been doing. That is what Gambians have been doing. Gambians love sport. The only thing that unites Gambia is football. We all know that. Call football and every difference will be put aside.
They come.
Yes. Anytime football comes in, just look at, like you said, the Gambia at AFCON. Even women that you have never seen, Musulmi along Kotumando from Safoko, I'm on football, Haji football, be Kata Jasi Lijante, Pukadum, will also be proud of Gambia. So that tells you that football unites the people, and it is so beautiful to see a united nation all looking towards one direction, that is the Gambia.
Obviously, yes. Well, there you got it from the man. In fact, I think I remember during one of the AFCON, Ivory Coast was having a civil war, but then, in fact, when Ivory Coast, when that was the days of Didier Drogba, he will talk to them, and then they will put down all the weapons and watch the game. In fact, so funny, after they go back to war. so that was so important. Anyway, once again, thank you so much. Like I said, we thank Amboy and of course GFF for bringing football. In fact, I must not be biased here. When the fixtures are out, all the media houses, some will come from the radios and they will be represented. And then among them, I think I must recognize LSTV1, Parfati and Co. You know, like I always said, I don't hide feelings. I just give the devil a due. They're very, very consistent when you go to the Gambian football. From the Navetan to the Division League, LSTV will be everywhere. Meanwhile, thank you so much. Kudos to LSTV. Parfati,
my boss.
Okay, thank you. They will always be there. We salute you. Of course, Atlantic Online TV, as you know, we have an open door policy, so we are always there. Once again, thank you so much for today's edition. Of course, viewers, thank you so much. We would like you to be a repeat customers, if you want to say it. Thank you so much from me, Big Sam, the host of the Atlantic Online Sport 360 Live. For today, Sunday, and of course, Mamadou, my guest. Keep on sporting.